Within the next 30 years, the United Nations expects the world population will grow from its current 7.4 billion to more than 9 billion. By 2050, the UN projects the world's food needs will increase by 70%. As part of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln's Huerman Lecture Series, National FFA Organization and Foundation CEO Mark Poeschl presented in Lincoln this week about the balancing act needed to feed the world. Poeschl is a native of Meade, Nebraska, and a graduate of UNL. He's been with FFA since this summer and helps lead nearly 650,000 FFA members across the U.S., Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. We talked with him before his presentation Tuesday and started by asking how FFA has changed since he, and likely some of our viewers, were in the organization.
When I was in FFA, we referred to ourselves as the future farmers of America, and certainly we were much more production agriculture oriented. While production ag is still critically important, and we all know that, we have evolved into an organization that is more diverse in gender of our members, but also more focused in areas like STEM education, science, technology, engineering, math, more agri-science based. And our members have a much wider experience level in many different parts of agriculture, more than just production in many cases, but also science and related industries of agriculture.
Describe how big that membership is right now.
We announced earlier this past fall, that we had achieved just short of 650,000 members, which was a record for us. We were up about 3%. I think it's interesting to note that nationwide, we have a little over 1 million students in ag education programs, so we're reaching about 2/3 of those members with FFA.
I think one of the reasons that's surprising to me, at least, is because there's so much disconnect between urban and rural, and so many generations are removed from the farm. How have you been able to be so successful in those urban areas, in the cities, to help boost membership?
Well, I think it's also notable that in many cases the connection between food and agriculture isn't made because of what you just said. There is a generation or two, or sometimes three, removed from production agriculture. But we've had success in identifying agri-science programs and agri-science curriculum in urban centers throughout the United States. I think we're in 17 of the 20 largest cities in the U.S. at this point. And that gives us an opportunity to reach more students, to reach it with a science-based curriculum, and also help those students and their parents understand where their food comes from.
What's the overall purpose of FFA as you see it?
When we talk about the hedgehog of FFA, which what I believe we need to be and want to be the best in the world at, that is youth leadership development. And we do that so that we can create a talent pipeline for agriculture and agribusiness.
What role is there for those students looking for STEM careers, but also those students looking to get back to the farm? Do you still see that population exists?
Well, there's certainly a population exists that's going back to that wants to go back to the farm. I think the average age of a farmer in the United States today is 58 years. And so we are going to see a transition in land ownership as well as a transition in people that are involved in production agriculture. So we're going to need to move young people back into production agriculture.
Your discussion here at UNL will discuss the balancing act in trying to feed the world. What is the balancing act?
When you look at the available resources that we have to feed a growing population, 9 billion people in less than 35 years, we need to feed those people, and we need to be able to do that sustainably, using the resources of one Earth as opposed to 1.6 planets that we're using today to feed 7 billion people.
What are the challenges in that?
Well, I think there are a number of challenges. I think that there's everything from regulatory and governmental challenges. I think that there's movement of trade that can create an issue for us, supply chain challenges, infrastructure. I mean, Norman Borlaug, who many recognize as a great humanitarian in and of himself, saved more than 1 billion people from starvation with the work he did in plant genetics and plant pathology and the like, said himself, infrastructure was the big issue in feeding everyone.
What resources are going to limit how we're able to scale up production?
I think one of the resources we have is education. When you go to a continent like Africa, where we see still tremendous opportunity, large areas of arable land and resources, water availability, what we lack is the basic agricultural education needed in order for that population to feed themselves.
I'll close with this. What issues are your members, so high schoolers across the country, concerned about when it comes to agriculture right now?
You know, it's interesting. When we talk to millennials, and our members would fit into the category of millennials, they are very focused on doing things for the greater good. They want to be able to contribute in a very meaningful way. They want FFA to be a welcoming organization to individuals of all races, all creeds, all sexual orientation, religious backgrounds. And so our members as well are interested in how we feed everyone and how they play a role in doing that.
Mark's presentation for the Huerman Lecture Series is available online. We'll link to that video on the Market Journal homepage.